Good morning, Pastor. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing very fine.
So I think there's a certain way to give and a certain way not to give. What verse do you have for us?
It's Matthew 6:3. Matthew 6:3. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. It's a great verse where you don't pound your chest and say, "Look how good I am." And sometimes I will, if I, for example, visit a church or something, and there's a giving time, and I reach into my wallet without looking and give whatever I pull out. I do kind of make sure it's not just a little one, but it's just I want to keep things separate mentally. Now, as far as business goes, I keep track of everything down to the penny. But as far as giving goes, I think there's a need to kind of not pat yourself on your back as you're doing things, to stay away from that. And you give without kind of a mathematical business sense. You just let go of that.
Yeah, and when you give the wrong way to please men, you lose the reward. And don't just think that this is some type of a monetary investment, with your money so that you're going to get a return or more money back. You might get a blessing in different ways, in other ways, because
Yeah.
money, gold, silver on this earth, it isn't even real, right?
Right. And so often in my life, as I've tried to be, I'm not perfect, but I've tried to be faithful in doing these kinds of things. And I can look around my house and God did this, any piece of thing, I mean, almost every way I can point, God blessed me. And I just, I just want people to understand that God is a God of blessing instead of trying to pat ourselves on the back and think that we're so good. That's not where the goodness comes from. It comes from the hand of God blessing us abundantly and deep and wide. He does that again and again. I just see it so clearly.
Yeah, and there's lots of ways to give to people in need. First of all, what is their need? They may not need financial resources. They might need someone else. They might need your time, your energy in a different way. So it's not just money, and it's never really about money, ever. People tell me all the time, you're always talking about money. Not really. You're not listening to my point. So, as
I,
always,
I,
yeah.
I got to say something more about that. I know we're a little longer, but it's so important to give effectively. And if we give, people throw money at things. That is not the answer. It's just so wrong to throw your money at things. You want to give to the needs. This text says to the needy. How do we make it blessing for the needy and not for the greedy? You know?
You're right. And giving in however you're giving to help others, it's not about checking off a box. Give according to how the Holy Spirit leads you to give and do what
Yes.
he leads you to do. Jesus says, I only do what I see the Father do. So you're not just check that box, check that box, check that box. I did this good deed. I did all these good deeds. No, they're not good deeds because you're just checking off a box. Be led by the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
So, as
Amen.
always, thanks for being with us, Pastor.
Great. Thanks.